I guess we can go ahead and get started. One take, big dog. Are you ready?
Let's roll.
Frankie, Miss Frankie, are you ready?
Absolutely.
Already. Well, let's do it. And guys, again, I just want to thank you so much for joining us on this live today, so we can discuss Loki episode 3 right here, titled. What is this episode titled? 1.3. No, I'm just teasing. That's what it says. No, it's called
I actually don't
Lamentis.
know the title.
It's called Lamentis. And I didn't even have time to look up to see what that meant right there. And so maybe one of you guys can school me. I don't know. Hopefully you can. But one take, big dog, I'm gonna come to you first, man. This last episode that left us on a cliffhanger. You know, we got this lady Loki. She's bombing the sacred timeline. You know, Loki's following her through these portals. We don't know what's going on. The TVA is just falling all apart. And I'm just like, my goodness gracious. I cannot wait for episode 3 to drop so I can know what's going to happen next. It's going to be so much information to come out. I cannot wait. And then we saw the episode. So I'm coming to you first, one say, big dog. How did you feel about this show, this episode 3? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Also, how are you feeling about the show overall, with us being at the halfway point? And also, so far, what has been your favorite episode so far? The floor is yours, sir.
Okay, let me try to make sure I remember everything you asked. Well, I'm going reverse, I guess. My favorite episode probably still the first one, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
I did enjoy this episode quite a bit. But I thought we were going to get a little bit more. I thought we were going to push the story forward more than what they did. But they did drop a huge bit of information that kind of shakes up everything that we've known. And I like the character development, and got this. It wasn't as mysterious as some of the episodes. We got to see the characters just out in their element, because I had one notion in my mind about a certain character, but after this episode, it's kind of brought it back and kind of grounded them a lot more.
I got you. And so you wanted more story. You wanted them to push things forward, and episode 1 is still your favorite.
Yeah.
Already. Well, Frank, I'm coming to you next, ma'am. Same question. You know, how are you feeling about the show overall? And since this is your first time, you can spit as long as you want. How are you feeling about the show overall? Did you like this episode? And what is your favorite episode so far?
Yeah, I would have to agree with Mr. Dog here. I love episode 1. I think it's incredible. You know, I love that it seems like it means so much more as a show as a whole to the MCU. And I think that's fun. I love all the Easter eggs they put in there, and how we're seeing the shift into phase 4 and how everything is so different. Now, episode 3 I thought was good, but I do feel like something was missing. They made huge reveals, and it didn't seem as big as they were. Like after they said a couple of lines, I watched it a couple times and I rewatched it. I was like, dang, this is huge. And it just seems like they're just talking, and sometimes that's good, but in this case, I think it was overwhelmed. And I thought the cliffhanger was a little cheap. Like, it was unnecessary, because the episode was like 5 minutes. Like, you could have added on at least the ending of the saga, and then we could have moved on.
Right. I agree. And when y'all talking about this, or you talking about these big reveals, would it happen to be this right here?
That everyone who works at the TVA was created by the Timekeepers.
That's ridiculous. They're all variants, just like us.
They don't know that.
Oh,
yes,
that big reveal right there. But wait, I had to tease y'all. We're gonna say it before the end. So sorry about that. I love how excited you got. You look like you really wanted to dig into that, and we are. But just real quick, man, how I felt about this episode is I'm extremely disappointed. I am. I was supposed to wake up at 2 a.m. to watch it, but I slept in my alarm. I woke up at 3. I watched it. I was ready to do my recap, but when it ended, I was like, man, what the hell? I'm going back to bed. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on? Now, to give it credit, I did watch it a second time during my lunch break, and I liked it a little bit better. I think the first time my expectations just weren't met, because I'm just thinking that we're going to be dropping all these facts. And then the clip that I just showed y'all, I thought we was going to get reveals like that throughout the whole episode, especially from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like they're just kind of wasting time playing a patty cake and stuff like that during times where they should have been having a conversation. I'm just like, man, what the hell is going on? And so that was a bit frustrating right there. And okay, hold on real quick. I'm sorry, we may have another guest coming to the show, and I just gotta send them a link real quick. But I was just really upset that we wasn't getting more reveals. And like you said, Frankie, the episode was very short. It could have been much longer, but while the first two episodes were complete fire, the first two episodes of this Loki show were way better than WandaVision, in my opinion, and way better than Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And this one right here just kind of like knocked the wind out of me. And I'm still happy to see what's coming, but this whole thing was just filler to me. And
I still think it's one of the best episodes in the MCU. I mean, Disney Plus. Like some of the bottom shows of WandaVision and Falcon, Captain America, and Winter Soldier, whatever, way worse than this episode. Like it's still a good overall episode, but I think we just want the bar is like set so high that when they give us mediocrity, we're like, absolutely not. We can't do it.
Right on. One take, did you have something to add to that?
Yeah, I kind of agree with that, but at the same time, I think in an episode filled with so much dialogue, you probably wanted more reveals. Right. You got one, and that was it. And this episode was basically full of just dialogue.
I got you. Now, I will go ahead and say this. One of the best things that I did like about this episode and the show is who the music is by. Natalie Holt. If she's over the score or the soundtrack or whatever, I think this is I love it. I jam this in my car. You know what I'm saying? Like the soundtrack and all that good stuff. And so I don't know how y'all feel about that. Of course, you can answer, but before I do that, let me go ahead and bring in my third guest of the show. It's been a minute, and I'm glad to have him back. I forgot where it's from, but that is James with Real James. How you doing, my brother? How you doing?
What is going on, you guys? I have missed so many live streams, and I'm so sorry, Brandon. I hopped out the shower real fast, and I was like, oh my God, wait, CST is an hour behind. Oh, I got to make sure I'm like on time for this.
Yes, but it can be confusing sometimes, man. So no worries. But
I came an hour early. I was sitting there. They were like, what are you doing here? I was like, what? We not, unprofessional. We need to be ready. Why are y'all chilling?
And I love the lighting, by the way. The green hue in the background is a good touch.
I tried to, and I could. Thank you. I'm Frankey, by the way. Great to meet you.
Don't come in making everybody look bad. Don't come in making us look bad.
No, stop it. Yo, big dog. No, man. Your takes are great.
And I'm sorry if y'all haven't met James. This is Frankie. This is James. I apologize if I didn't do a proper introduction. So my bad there. But James, thank you for being here, man. I do appreciate it. All we've done so far is just kind of gone around the circle of how we felt about this episode. So if you can let us and the people in the chat know how you felt about this episode, if you liked it or disliked it, your overall thoughts on the whole show, and what's your favorite episode so far?
Okay, so the easiest one to answer is definitely my favorite episode. That is 2. I think episode 2 was the strongest because it was so consistent, and I think that it showed what this show can really do, if that makes sense. I mean, especially at the end where it left you on a really good cliffhanger, and I loved how they played up that reveal to Lady Loki, or the variant, or Sylvie as we know her now. But I think that what the show can do great is really linger on the character development side of things and get us into these conversations and let the actors do all the acting, and we don't need big action moments. However, in episode 3, I think they needed to lean more so on the action side of things because of the cliffhanger on episode 2. So for me, episode 3 was probably one of the worst episodes of this MCU television run that they're doing.
I agree. Just especially with the last part, keeping it short and sweet, that this was the worst. I was let down. I liked it better the second time around, but I was really frustrated. And we got our first super chat of the day. Let me go ahead and address that. Nicole CNC 499. Good seeing you all. I like first episode best so far. The cliffhanger this week sucked. Yes, yes, it did. And let me go ahead and give you this right here.
What a money reside, what a money reside, what a money reside, what a money reside.
Thank you so much.
I
see you.
I do appreciate it. Thank you. Well, I mean, let's go ahead and get into it because while I was disappointed, there were some things that I did like, and so we're going to get into all of that. And like I was saying, one of the first things I did like is the score of the show so far. But it's starting out like this right here. We get this actress, not actress. What is her name? Hunter C20. Who was kidnapped in episode 2. She's having a little dinner with Sylvia, who we know is most likely the enchantress or Lady Loki, and she's just trying to figure out what's going on and trying to play with her brain and just kind of some deception type stuff right here. And then some things change. We find out like, well, she's like, whoa, what the hell is going on here? Why you? What is this? I can't even talk right now. Like, what is this? and she's trying to, and Sylvie trying to find out where the timekeepers are. And then we get this scene right here of them kind of going back to a different perspective in episode 2, just trying to get that information using those special powers right there and where are those elevators at. And Frankie, I'm gonna come to you first this time. How are you feeling about this intro and them kind of expanding on how Lady Loki, Sylvia, Enchantress is using her powers to try to get information out of these Minuteman agents?
Yeah, and I'm a drop a huge theory I have with it. But this is what I meant by I feel like there was huge important components in this episode that was kind of like glazed over. And this was a big one because, and we'll talk about it later, of course, when they get a little closer and we figure out like exactly how Enchantress powers work. And how someone like whatever, I'm gonna call her Rasta. Is what I was calling her in all my notes to just say Rasta. Just seeing how she was broken and stuff like that, it made me think like, why was this episode cut? And Loki talking about how strong his mind was.
Okay. OneTakeBigDog, how you feeling about this intro?
I enjoyed it because it caught me off guard. But at the same time, I also had to think back to episode 2 as to like the state of C20 after this. And so I'm kind of thinking, I think her mind has been played with a lot of times, and Sylvia going in there didn't help the situation at all. But we don't really know. It's just all kind of speculation as of right now.
I got you. How you feeling, James?
So I think that the opening to this episode was probably stronger than the overall episode itself because it set it up for a direct follow-up for us to find out where those explosive canisters are going. Are they going to destroy different parts of the sacred timeline, or are they going to literally kill the timekeepers? And I'm not going to lie, when you see Judge Renslayer in the beginning, I thought, yo, it is going down. Like, Gugu Mbatha-Raw is one of the best actresses. She's on the rise in Hollywood. And then I said, you know what? She's coming to play 0 games this morning. Well, for me, it was in the morning. And then they just went away from it. And then we get onto Lamentis 1. So I think that the opening of the show set up for something that did not deliver as the rest of the episode went on for me.
I got you, man. I'm got you. I'm feeling all this. But then, right after that, and I knew that this is what she was doing. She was trying to enter the TVA so she could sneak back in there. That makes perfect sense to me. And so early on, I was really happy to see all this right here. And so she's trying to do her Jedi mind tricks, and unfortunately, it's not working. But it's okay, because she can box. She can flip off walls. You know what I'm saying? I love it. I love it. She's taking little billy club sticks and disintegrating people, melting them left and right, And so that's cool right there, because I love a woman that can kick some ass. And then here comes Loki following right behind. He's like, wait a minute. I think there's something in this longest for me. Oh, yes. Let me get the knives. Let me get the daggers. And I mean, I don't know. I just like his presence as he walking down, just showing so much confidence and authority, a little cockiness and arrogance, but that's cool. And hey, we find the golden doors right here, And I have to be honest, while this right here kind of frustrated me. It did, because she was right there about to, accomplish her goal and find the elevators, and they want to play they want to play slap hands. Patty cake. I couldn't think of it, and it's just like a waste of time to me, and it just kind of frustrating. She's like, "Hey, you come any closer and I kill him," She's like, I don't give a damn. Do what you gotta do. Do what you gotta do.
We've been trying to kill him.
Right. And then they disappear. But while I was disappointed with that little sequence of events right there, James, did it do anything for you? How did you like it?
I'm not gonna lie, their back and forth is probably the strongest thing about the series so far. I love Owen Wilson, don't get me wrong, but Sophia DiMartino and Loki are great because they're basically the same. And I mean, that's another theory in the comics, like, of course, you know, she's a variant of Loki and whatnot. But anyway, I think that both of them have a really good rapport together, and I won't lie to you, I think that if we got a little bit more of them hand-to-hand combat like they did even at the end of the episode, and them having that infighting dialogue, it would make this episode a little bit more worthwhile for me, because it's 42 minutes, it's shorter, but I don't feel like they really moved the needle too much for me. But in the beginning, it definitely was getting me very excited. And then, of course, they get to the planet, and again, we just get more conversations between them, and they do nothing.
Right on. One sec, how you feeling about that, man?
My favorite part about that whole sequence actually was the score, because like the score going on during that whole fight was amazing. I caught it as soon as it hit. I had the TV on full blast, so I think that pretty much elevated the scene for me. But it does feel weird considering the fact that she had took out all these other like Minutemen, and then we get into this situation. Obviously, you have Renslayer, who's probably top dog. But at the same time, the door is right there behind you. It's not like you have to get past them to get to the door. Like the door is behind you. You might have to press a button and wait for the elevator to come down. Who knows? It might, but I'm pretty sure the only people who go through the elevator is probably Renslayer, and nobody else is going up. So turn around, press the button, go through the elevator, and then go find the timekeeper.
Yo, one take, you can't turn around while there are people behind you with
Loki's right there
and their hands. Yeah, but Renslayer would have clapped her immediately if she turned around. Like, you need to neutralize the threat. Infinite Science said something really interesting that said, you know, Falcon and the Winter Soldier is the only thing they'd buy. But the thing about this is like 5. Excuse me.
God bless you.
Thank you. This is like 10 comic books combined together, unlike Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So even who will find out who Sylvie is and stuff like that, this has taken so many different components here. And I think that's what makes it special. I like this episode because if you guys ever seen The Gentleman with Matthew McConaughey, I just watched it on the plane yesterday. That's why I'm thinking about it. But you know how like everyone seemed like a proper villain, like they were gentlemen, but there was something menacing about them. I felt that way when Loki pulled up with his dagger, because for a second I forgot he'd be rocking with the daggers, and then when he pulled them out, I said, "Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Old school Loki. Let's do it. Like, let's throw these hands." And it gave me what I wanted. So I did like this scene. It was just, yeah, like I said, something about like all of the heat that was coming out. I was like, something is missing here.
I got you. How are y'all feeling about Sophia DiMartino overall? She's new to me. I've never seen her in anything before. So she's, you know, she's just being introduced to me in this Loki series. Does she fit the role well to you guys, or, you know, she overall, or you're not really feeling her energy?
Go ahead, one take. Sorry.
Yeah, I think she does, but that was one of the things I was talking about earlier. Is that like she had this mystique to her? She felt like the superior Loki, I guess I would say. But then when you get into this episode, it's kind of like, oh no, you just was ahead of everybody else. Like that, when you're on equal footing, you're pretty much like the same Loki. Like you just kind of winging it as well.
Mercury says recast her.
Recast her.
Wow. I like her.
I thought she was good in this episode. Like, this is the thing. I think because we're thinking her as Lady Loki, who is essentially Loki, and she's not that. So in that like regard, I'm like, something is off. I always wanted Liv Tyler to do it. So when I saw her, I said, "Oh my, who is this?" And then I thought, like, you know, maybe this is Enchantress. And to your point, Big Dog, like that's why she is different. Like how she did all this stuff and was one step ahead of the TVA every step, and she didn't know her magic didn't work on the premises. Like that is light retcon. Like I was like, and so that was my first indicator that she's not as smart as I may essentially think she is. Because it was, to your point, I'm like, Loki would have at least known that. Loki found out his magic didn't work immediately. Immediately he rolled up. He still had on the gear and was like, oh, my magic don't work here. So for her to have all this wherewithal to know, like, I need to take these recharges and I know the tech and not know that, I think what are two things? Either someone sent her. And another one is that she's not Loki, that she is someone else. Which is confusing to me, y'all, because, and we're seeing that there are improprieties with the TVA, but how are the variants so different, right? If there are no multiverses, how can there be, I get a frost giant version of Loki. Yes, so he didn't do that. But how is there a lady Loki? How is there a Loki that's, that looks totally different from him if there's only one timeline? Do you guys get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Somewhat.
Yeah.
I got you. That's a good question. Hopefully they'll end up answering them, because I have more questions than answers at this time, and I'm gonna be patient. I know we got 3 more episodes, but we're gonna have to see.
That's the thing, Brandon. We only have 3 more episodes, so for this episode to come now at this time, I almost feel like it ruined the momentum that it was building towards. We were starting to learn more about the TVA, and then they just give us this. Like, we can afford an episode like this, I think, if we have a 10 episode season. But when you have a 6 episode season, you gotta move, you gotta keep going, and I don't think they did that here.
Right on. I agree. But they disappear, and they going over here. They don't know what's going on. Miss Minnie says, "Oh, you out of juice? You're out of juice." And so that's unfortunate. They bickering back and forth, and she's okay, but stuff just starts coming out of the sky. Asteroids are going here and there, and we find out that they're on this planet right here called Lamentis 1. And I had no idea what this meant. I'm like, what the hell is Lamentis 1? And they are now in year 2077, and they don't have no juice to get home. And we find out that this is like the worst of the apocalypse places that they could have been. She's like, you idiot! He's like, I don't know what that means. And so I don't know. They're kind of arguing while their heads are about to explode from rockets and meteors. But they're running and just trying to survive. And I have to be honest with you, it's really going to seem like I really hated this episode, but I didn't. But you got all these meteors and rocks come crashing down. And that's fine. They have to escape. But it just wasn't consistent to me, because when they left that room again, the asteroids wasn't coming down anymore. It's just like, what happened? I don't really get that. I mean, I've never been in on a planet where a moon is about to crash into us to know exactly what's going to happen. But it just wasn't that consistent to me. And then here, she's trying to use the enchanting powers on them, but it's not work because his mind is too strong, and she's getting frustrated about it. You know what I'm saying? And he's saying, I do have the temp pad and all that, and they're trying to work out some arrangement. But OneTakeBigDog, I think I'm coming to you next. How you feeling about this reveal that they're in the worst apocalypse ever in Lamentis 1, running from rocks and boulders, and also her failing at trying to enchant Loki? How you feeling about all that?
I expected her not to be able to enchant him, just because. Oh, simply, I just thought plot purposes, it wouldn't make sense. It was just that simple for her to be able to enchant him. And as far as them going to apparently the worst apocalypse there is, I don't see what's so bad about it. Granted, they have a moon that's literally about to hit them. But at the same time, it's not like the planet's on fire. People are literally kind of chilling, just walking around. They, what I'm saying? A couple of them probably finna die, but for the most part, everybody's chilling. And if you can avoid the rocks falling down, you all right. Also, you have to get off the planet, obviously. But it didn't give me that feeling of like danger, like, yo, we have to move fast. We constantly have some kind of danger, like the planet's breaking apart. It never gave me that feeling,
I got you. Frankey, how you feeling about that?
Yeah, I Big Dog, you are my spirit animal. I agree. I was like, how is there a better apocalypse? If you can't leave, you gonna die here. Even if they were in Pompeii, if they had no means of leaving Pompeii, what were they gonna do? So about the mind thing, this is what I was saying earlier that I was alluding to. Like, I think the reason why this episode seems so slow, and I think it would kind of I think looking back, we'll love this episode. because I think she is currently using her magic on him. And that's why they ended it before they get off the planet, because when he realizes it, it's going to be a snap. How are they going to leave? I mean, the TVA could pull up, absolutely. But another thing is he's going to be like, what the, and if you notice throughout the entire episode, he is the one sharing, which I couldn't believe how loose Loki's lips were. I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
This is crazy. So this is exactly what I mean about it kind of dulling down Big Dog about, like, I'm going to say it all day. There was so many huge things going on, and it seemed like it wasn't. It seemed chill. Like everything seemed so cavalier. How is this? How are you scared for your life and y'all chilling on the train? You know what I mean? Like, it just seemed very different to me.
I cannot wait to talk about that train sequence. But James, how you feeling about all that, man?
So I do have to agree that the stakes never really felt too real. And that was my big issue, is that everything they were saying was going to happen never actually happened this episode. Hey, this moon is going to crash into the planet, but we don't really get the sense that it's happening or it's going to happen. They seem so calm. And the thing is, we should have been feeling super tense the entire time. We should have been feeling like they were going to die in the next frame, but we never had that. And I do get why they had that feeling, or at least I get why they weren't freaking out. Maybe because they figured, we're confident, like, we got 2 Lokis here. Like, there's no reason we should be even fearful of a planet crashing into us. But then at the end of the episode, of course, we see them start to freak out when they see their ship explode. Now, what I will have to say, Brandon, I'm glad you brought up the fact that the Enchantress couldn't actually use her spell, her charming spell, on Loki. I think that she's doing it without doing it, if that makes sense, because she's playing with Loki's mind in a way that she's now convinced him that she could be a good person to help him get, I guess, closer to the timekeepers. So I think Loki before the TVA would have been temperamental and would have definitely pushed this character off to the side. But in a way, she kind of has him in a trance and is making him believe, at least, that she can help him get in, I guess, to his goals, like get to his end game. And I think that's more important than having him under a spell, literally.
So you think it's a natural enchantment rather than like a magical one? Exactly,
Big Dog.
Okay, I like it. Let me go ahead and grab a super chat real quick. This is from Eman's movie reviews right here. $20. Great chat, everyone. Brandon, you know why I'm here. Play the clip, sir. LOL. Well, yes, I will play the clip. Here you go. Right on. Guys, this is Eman with Eman's movie reviews. It's a real cool brother. Go subscribe to his channel. He's about to break 100,000 subscribers, and I'm really proud of him. He always comes out with these great theory videos with a comic book material. He is the king of the hashtag recast T'Challa movement. He's on my channel tab right here as well, part of the family on that top right there. And just to let you know, he will be going live in about 22 minutes on his channel to discuss Loki 3 as well. And so after this, we got to see what he's talking about as well. So show that brother some love too, right there. And thank you, E-Man, for the super chat. I really do appreciate it. Mara Sharice is saying, what is she saying? Where did it go? He's starting to trust her. Remember that line? We do. And we are going to be talking about that as well. But just getting back to just breaking this thing down, they're trying to get along. She's calling him out, saying like, hey, why are you working for these people? And he's like, I'm just a consultant. You know what I'm saying? Leave me alone. But we got this, this kind of reminded me of Kill Bill Volume 2 right here, where Beatrice got blasted in the chest, she's firing some big ass bazooka. Loki trying to do his magic. That's not working either. He getting blasted as well. You know what I'm saying? Having to wipe his collar, and I kind of found that funny. And so they're trying to find power, to hook up the temp pad or whatever. And then, here's this little thing right here, Loki using his magic. I thought that was quite clever, but at the same time, nobody saw him transform right there in front of him. But, I'm not. I
wouldn't be paying him no mind if I'm trying to, escape imminent death.
That is a good point.
World ending.
Yeah, good point. If the world is ending and an alligator starts
walking, I'm trying to get on this train. I'm trying to get on this train, y'all. You talking about this man changing? Get out of here. No.
I like it. Good point. But Anyway, he playing Transformers with his clothes or whatever, and this reminds me of Titanic. I was like, they only letting the rich people on there. What did they say? They're only giving tickets to the wealthy people. What's going on? And she got a wedding gown on that looked like, and Loki, hey, wait, what you doing? What are you doing? Jedi mind tricks everywhere. He getting on there. So Frankey, I was coming to you next anyway. So, and you made a good point. So you can expand on that if you want to. But how are you feeling about them getting along, and also just the ticket thing and them giving it to the wealthy and all that good stuff? How are you feeling?
Yeah, and it reminded me a lot of Snowpiercer.
Mhm.
Yes.
So I kind of like that nod to it. I'm not sure if it was meant to, but of course, like classism works, and Titanic and all those, like, we're in a disaster. Yeah, poor people gotta wait to whoever's left, and that's a harsh reality of just the way society works. Like, who got the cheese to get on? In terms of the train scene in general, that's where I started to get in the theory of, like, she is there, she's in his mind, and this is not real, because we get kind of insight into her powers, and she talks about, like, yo, if they're strong, I kind of have to make them comfortable and stuff like that. And that's what happens. Like, she gets the libations flowing, he out here singing folklore, and I was like, what? This is crazy. And it's the same point. Like, as she says, if she is Loki, right? They're saying she's a variant Loki, and she may be Loki. Loki is first and foremost about the mission. Like, he is hedonistic, and I know he about the shits, but he not gonna get drunk when he know he about to, like, he has to dip. And that was my first indicator. Like, why would Loki do this? This is so weird. Unless it was to build camaraderie with her and kind of, like, put him in a situation where he feels indebted to her. And it does. He starts talking about his moms. I just couldn't believe how much he was talking to what may be his enemy. Like, she just was trying to kill you, dog, and you out here just giving everything to her. I thought it was weird.
Yes, good point right there. And James, I'm gonna come to you next, but how you feeling? Going back, just how you feeling about the costume change, the whole wealthy comment of them not giving away tickets, and as Frankey was just saying, them having this conversation right here. They also start talking about their love life. She said that she has a long distance relationship with the postman. Loki, I didn't know this. We found out he's into men and women, that he's dipped and dabbed a little bit on both sides. And so
he's a god. What god don't like to get busy?
Good point.
They always down with it. And he live in space. Who's not paying sexual in space? Would you, like, have sex with someone who's green? The sky's the limit. You get what I'm saying? The sky's the limit. You limited it to men. I saw 8 planets. No.
I got you. And so this reveal right here. And also I like the powers that they're using right here as well. They get into this fight. I like seeing him use his magic and all that good stuff. And then they jump out the train. Or get thrown out the
they wanted to leave that train, yeah.
Right. So James, break it down, man. How you feeling about all that, man?
So Frankey hit the nail on the head. Honestly, the whole classism angle is nice. I like that tinge of writing there by I don't know if Michael Waldron wrote the script for this episode. I think it was somebody else, but I do love the fact that they add this into the MCU shows. Like The Falcon and the Winter Soldier touched on racial issues in America, which was amazing. And I love that WandaVision touched on mental health. And now I think what we're dealing with here is less realistic, of course. So they have an opportunity to jump to different timelines and hopefully different periods of time, whether it be in America or around the world. And they can talk about things socially, and there's a lot of commentary, I think, just in this one scene alone, because we see somebody in the background, or at least I heard someone in the background say, you're only giving a ticket because they're rich. And it's like, oh, that is real. Like, we're getting so caught up in the sci-fi angle of things, but I feel like sci-fi stories, at least in movies and TV, they can tell the realest stories sometimes. So I love that Loki is accomplishing that, and I also love the fact that they had this conversation. And I do think Loki, he's so smart, man, because what he's doing is he's letting her in close enough to where she feels comfortable with letting her guard down even a little bit, to where Loki can then hopefully, well, not hopefully, I don't want this to happen, but he's probably going to, I don't know, just get his way and kill the timekeepers. I don't want that to happen because clearly I want Loki to become the anti-hero that we've like learned to love over these movies. But I do think that this scene was super important. However, this was about the moment where I started to feel a little bit down on this episode.
I got you. OneTake, how you feeling about all that, man?
Okay, I'm gonna go back a little bit because I think my views on it a little bit different from y'all's. One, the whole classism stuff. I got that, but if we being realistic, first of all, where did the rich people come from? Because I don't see nothing but sand. All right. Secondly, I'm thinking to myself, the world is ending. I don't care if you rich or poor. We finna fight to get on it. Like, you finna have to shoot me. It's a bunch of us. There's a few of y'all. I'm not finna just sit here and wait for it. I don't care who got money. The planet is about to be destroyed.
We don't know what type of guns they got, yo.
They gonna have to use
but our girl in the crib had the bazooka ray gun.
Oh, you're right. She did have the break. She did have the break. But you know that's also a commentary on people, population, and herding the sheep, right? That like, you know, one person with a gun can subdue 30 people. Who trying to be the one to get shot? Right, because one person got to get shot for us to take us down. Who doing
somebody
that?
Somebody do got to take that first bullet.
Who gonna take the L? Big Dog, you taking the L?
But somebody
I would encourage somebody.
The whole planet finna go up. You know what I'm saying? So you don't got a choice.
So y'all, so me and James in the back, y'all going out first. You get the shot. We gonna subdue them. No.
You or James. I'm convincing you one of y'all to be like, hey, I got your back.
And while we talking, okay, rich lady is on the train already, okay? Because we trying to, that's human mentality. We all finna die, but I'm not trying to die right now. I'm trying to see what chance I got, you know?
What you got, but I get what you're saying, but at the same time, this is a apocalyptic event. There, like, if you don't get on the train, you die. So we
had those too, and I don't want to get super dark here, but I mean, the same thing has happened in like hostage situations, and you know, even 9/11, where some people did try to take people down. You know what I mean? They didn't even have a gun; they had a box cutter, and it's the fear of people. Of like, I don't want to be the one to die. Like, who wants to truly be a martyr? And that's why we love these stories. Nobody putting themselves out there like that. Like, nobody really, truly wants to die and is willing to sacrifice themselves on that level, you know? And that's what's beautiful about like hero stories in general.
Yeah, really? I get you. Okay, I give y'all that. I can see that point right there. I can see that. Now we're gonna get on to the train. I think Loki is playing her. I just honestly believe that he's opening up. What's the best way to get in with somebody else? Is open up to them. You let them know the right amount of information you need for them to know, and then they gonna get relaxed with you because she's making it seem like, oh, Loki's getting relaxed with her, but that in my mind, I think that's what Loki wants because we've seen Loki manipulation earlier in what was that episode 2 when like he was with Mobius in like the tent. So I think this is exactly
Sharronda.
So I think he's just waiting for the right opportunity for what Sylvia gonna tell him everything he needs to know about the timekeeper. Then obviously he's gonna do what he does and betray her.
Already, I love all these views. That's what's up. You know what I'm saying? That's cool. But moving on. You know, they jump out the train. One get thrown out. One jumps out. They're trying to get that 10 pad, and she ain't shit. Give me the damn pad, man. You're effing up. You know, you're pissing me off. We're gonna die. You know, and so they're talking about the hedonistic. And I like that. And now they're getting along right here. And this is the big reveal right here that I'm sure we want to talk about. I kind of hinted at it earlier, but here we go.
But everyone who works at the TVA
know how enchantment works. I have to make physical contact and then grab hold of their mind.
How?
It depends on the mind. Most are easy and I can overtake them instantly. Others, the stronger ones, it gets tricky. I'm in control, but they're there too. In order to preserve the connection, I have to create a fantasy from their memories.
And you call me a magician?
That young soldier from the TVA, her mind was messed up, everything clouded. I had to pull a memory from hundreds of years prior, before she even fought for them.
What? What did you say? Before she joined the TVA?
Yeah, she was just a regular person on Earth.
A regular person?
Loved margaritas.
I was told that everyone who works at the TVA was created by the Timekeepers.
That's ridiculous. They're all variants, just like us.
They don't know that.
What in the world is going on? What? There are variants. The TVA is full of crap. James, break it down, man. How you feeling about that reveal?
Man, I heard that and I was recording my reaction, so I couldn't rewind. And I'm like, oh, they just said that, didn't they? They really had to open up that can of worms 100 years prior. So that, I mean, there's something else here. I mean, Frankey brought it up earlier. There is no way that they don't confirm there's a multiverse here. There's no way that there aren't multiple timelines here, that they're pulling in people from different timelines, because this was huge. If anything, this was the best moment of the entire episode, just for the reveal itself. But I'm wondering now if Mobius is not the nice guy we think he is. You know what I mean? There are secrets that the TVA are holding, and you can tell Mobius. What did he say in the first episode? Where he's been through it all. He's had that kind of persona where he's like, whatever, I've seen everything, and he knows a lot more than he's letting on. And I do think Judge Renslayer is so adamant about protecting the Timekeepers because, well, she's in on it too. You know, if this got out to everybody else, forget it. The TVA would be shut down immediately, because you can't just trap these people for so long against their will. And Loki made a comment, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, in the first episode, where he made a comment and he said, like, what you guys are doing is exactly what you're claiming I'm doing, which is holding people against their will and controlling them and controlling their minds. So it's like Loki was onto it before we all were in this episode. So I think this is huge. And Hunter C20, I guess, just ages very well, but man.
Right on. And one take before I come to you, this is one of the things that pissed me off about this episode is this reveal, these questions, this conversation that they're having. They should have had this at the very beginning. They should have had this on the train. But Loki want to get drunk and talk, and they want to talk about who each other smashing and stuff. Like, no, what are you talking about? Like, who are you? What is the end game? Where you coming from? How do we win? Why are you? I was just frustrated. Like, they should have been, Loki should have been asking these questions on the train, but he want to get sloshed. That pissed me off. OneTakeBigDog, how you feeling about this reveal?
Man, it kind of threw me for a loop, because then my mind started wondering, like, okay, where are the Timekeepers coming from? Where are they pulling people from? How do they pick and choose who stays in the TVA? I think just a theory of mine, the reason Agent Mobius is thinking about that jet ski so much, he used to ride jet skis, then they pulled him out, and then now they pretty much mess with his mind to where he don't even necessarily remember, but he's still holding on to a little piece of information that he used to have. Now, but I'm still also thinking back to the guy who, maybe that might be why the guy doesn't even remember what a fish is, because they took him out, messed with his brain, so he doesn't remember anything before. It's still kind of weird, because this is a big organization and there's a lot of people. And like now the opening, the intro, pretty much like how the war was ended by the Timekeepers, all of that, you just throw that out the window, because I don't believe none of that. Like none of it. So it's just weird. It's still hard for me to connect the dots, because this is the only piece of information we got, and then move forward past that. So I think maybe in the later episodes, maybe we'll get a little bit more. Because I'm not the greatest at theories. I'm gonna be honest with y'all.
It's all good. Frankey, how you feeling about all this and this reveal?
Yeah, I was like pleasantly surprised when I saw it. I was like, oh, this makes sense. I do remember in the first episode when they said, like, oh, the Minutemen were created by the Timekeepers. I was like, shout out to the Timekeepers for being able to create a diverse group. Like, who got the time to be thinking Filipinos and think Black women and shit like that? Like, because normally it's like word to Boba Fett, like, I'm gonna just make, here's what my Minutemen are gonna look like, and then all of them, like, why would he take so much care to make them so different? So at first I was like, word to that, and then when she did reveal that they were different, I was like, Nah, that makes sense. James, I was wild triggered when you said it was Mobius, and that's because I love myself some Owen Wilson, and I'm hoping that this series ends with him with the Wedding Crasher haircut, just riding on a jet ski in the 90s. Like that's how I want. If anything else happens, I just want this to happen. I will say this too. A lot of people who I saw were really confused about her saying 100 years ago. Where the time variance is, time does not exist. So she could essentially pull someone from 2012, bring them to the time variance, and they could work there for hundreds of years, like Word to Narnia, and then they could just put her back right where they left. In the way that like Captain America could have lived 90 years and came back exactly at that point instead of being super dramatic and whatever. And living through his life, but he wanted to die. Whatever. I'm sorry. I don't mean to bring up other things.
You're good.
But yeah, and as someone, Nathan Moore brought up the quantum realm. I think obviously this is a huge theory that's been floating around that I agree with. I think that this is in the quantum realm, and that's why, right? Because that's how they use the time travel. It's clear when they're time traveling. That's what the Avengers use the time travel. That's where old girl was stuck for years. That's where what's his name? Fine man. What's his name? Dang. Ant-Man, Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd was stuck. I'm sorry, y'all. That's where he was stuck. And they show pictures of like a city stuck in the quantum realm. So I think that's another thing too, that they're stuck in a place where they can pull variants. And they said it during the Miss Minute video that like you can spill your coffee and miss your train and you're a variant. Like you don't have to be a full-on Loki variant to be a variant. So
I didn't like that either, but keep going.
Yeah, I mean that don't make sense to y'all. Y'all never seen that movie Adjustment Bureau? Like one thing, it's a butterfly effect, right? Like if you may miss meeting your wife, you get what I'm saying? To like if you miss a bus, and that will change the trajectory of your life. You get what I'm saying? You may miss a job opportunity because you spilled coffee. And that job opportunity was going to make you money. Like, you never know. So, yeah, I thought that made sense.
No, I'm feeling that it makes sense. I'm just saying, like, for this show, I just wish that, people can become variants on accident. You know what I'm saying? Just because they forgot to tie their shoe. Because in this case, Loki's a variant because he did something with the Tesseract, an Infinity Stone. And that goes back to Endgame when the Sorcerer Supreme, it was like, if this is taken out of its regular cycle, that's what creates a branch timeline. So if you can be a variant just because you spill your coffee or something, I mean, I understand it, but I just wish that it was a little bit more complicated than that,
Yeah.
But that's just me.
I like that, but they show that it's not complicated, right? He opened a drawer and his life's work was a paperweight being, clowned on by a guy who didn't know what a fish was.
I love that guy. I miss him.
Yeah, I do.
I do. Yeah. But we at the end of the episode now. They're like, look, we can still try to get on this the spaceship or whatever. I forgot exactly what they called it. And they're running. It's a race against time. Everything is falling apart. Oh, that's the wrong picture. And what's funny to me is the world is ending, but the people still want to fight them with asteroids falling everywhere. That didn't really add up to me. I did not know that Loki was this powerful. That's kind of badass. I like that power reveal right there as well. And I forgot to bring it up earlier when Sylvie was upset and she did that DBZ power up like and made the rocks explode. That was badass. I guess I forgot to pull that. I guess I forgot to pull that picture up or whatever, but it's all good. But yeah, they're fighting and they're trying to escape, and not rockets, but asteroids, meteors, and rocks are coming everywhere, and then it blows up, and they realize they are stuck in a rut and they have nothing. They don't know what to do. I don't know what's going to happen either. And so, OneTakeBigDog, how are you feeling, man, about this ending? And then the little spaceship, blowing up in their face, and they appears to be stuck there for the rest of time.
Okay, first of all, I don't know who these dudes they got working for them. The rich people got working for them, but the fact that they willing to sacrifice their life to stop other people from getting on the ship. Also, what's going on in this town is what I expect to be going on at that train because it's a whole bunch of chaos and everybody's running around. Another thing, the cliffhanger, which none of us really like, because I'm looking at it like there has to be somebody who's going to show up. But logically speaking, let's say Agent Mobius shows up and rescues Loki and Sylvie. What sense does that make? Because you were trying to get them out the way. Well, you were maybe not Loki, but Sylvie, you were definitely trying to get out the way, and you can simply leave them there to die, and that problem solved. So you don't have to worry about them anymore. You just go solve all these variants that have occurred. So I don't really get the cliffhanger at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I got you. Frankie, how you feeling about the ending?
Yeah, I mean, I actually really enjoyed cinematically the ending. Like, I love a good one take.
Yes.
Y'all. I love a good one take, and that was definitely like it was shot beautifully. I think that an interesting point was made where, like, when Loki says "I'm a god," it's a joke, right? He said it like 3 times before then, and to us, it's a joke. And that's the MCU not knowing how to kind of power scale, which I get. Some of it is budget and stuff like that, and they don't have the time. But y'all, like, Loki ain't nothing to fuck with. Like, we think because we see him next to, if you put him next to Thor, the Lord of Thunder, you know what I mean? And it's Chris, 8 foot tall. Yeah, he's gonna look like a joke.
Yeah.
But Loki is formidable, and I'm so happy that they showed that part of him. That, like, there's a reason why he's such a big villain. He's no one to mess with. I thought the acting was on point because when the arc blows up and Sylvie just like, fuck y'all, and excuse me, and she just walks away. Y'all wouldn't do it. Like, y'all get on my nerves. I would have walked away the same way. So I thought that was interesting. I want to make a note that I love that I talked about Paul Rudd and everybody's talking about his skin routine in the comments. Your fans are amazing.
Yes, I love him. Real quick, before I come to you, James, let me go ahead and grab the super chat real quick. Pound the payment, $5. You will never know how powerful Loki is because of how many times he gets whooped. First of all, 1 second. Thank you so much for the super chat, man. I really do appreciate it. And yes, he does get tossed around a bit, that ain't nothing else to it. James, how you feeling about this ending, man, and them being stuck on the planet about to die?
For me, it felt like they didn't know where to end the episode. And I do think that this episode could have benefited from another 10 minutes, to be honest. Like, let it breathe a little bit more, because the cliffhanger for me would have been if they ended on that reveal about the TVA. That would have been a cliffhanger. But the ship blowing up, it's like, this just felt like so out of place, almost as if this was episode 3A and next week is episode 3B. You know what I mean? I almost feel like this would have worked better if we saw this entire series all at once. But since it's a weekly show, I didn't feel like they delivered enough for it to really be worthy of that oh wow moment. I mean, the acting was great, yes, and I love the cinematography and the score, but I just don't know if there was enough on the writing side for that ending to be justified as a very good cliffhanger for me.
Right on. I really think the next episode is gonna make us love this episode.
That's a good point.
You get what I'm saying? Yeah, I think like we hate it now, and to your point, maybe they should have word to WandaVision, did them back to back, so we could have like kind of laid off of them. But like, why end it there unless people gonna get busy at the end? Like something's gonna happen where like, and there's a scene we haven't seen, which I don't watch trailers, but I have seen this part of the trailer because everybody updates it. But they're sitting down and they're having a heart to heart. What better way to get whatever information you need than like we're about to die right now?
So let me get this super chat real quick.
I need all the
Yo.
No, we did not like what we saw with this episode. I probably should have played something else, but Sharronda with Payway, $25.
Let's
I need
go.
all the panelists to admit this episode was trash. I'll admit
No.
it.
No.
Yo, I know what it.
I'm disappointed. It wasn't trash, but I was disappointed.
Trash.
I can't believe Sharronda dropped the bag. So we did that shit. That's an expensive site.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Sharronda. Thank you so much. I thank you so much. But I won't say it's trash, but it was disappointing. If anybody else wants to throw your 2 cents in on that, you're more than welcome to.
There is one thing I don't think we talked about yet, at least. I don't think the episode was trash, but I think it built on the fact that Loki is being built down in this episode, only to be built back up again. It's like his ego is being shifted. Like, he came into this episode like, you can't touch me, bro. And then he got upstaged by that dude who was like wanding him for like metal objects or whatever. So it's like his ego keeps getting pushed downward, and this is not usual for him. And I love that Sofia DiMartino's character is almost like the yin to his yang, and he's finding his confidence again, but in a different way. He's not just forcing himself to be like this god. He's like, yo, let's work together a little bit. And I kind of like the fact that his ego it's still there, but it's not as inflated as it was in episode 1. It's almost like he's maturing by regressing in this entire series so far.
Got you. And yeah, thank you, Sharronda, for the super chat. I do appreciate it. What's going on, Moochie? And Frankey Mara likes the way you think. You know, best friends are in the house. That's what's up right there.
Girl, pull up to Death Row, yo. Instagram, we get popping over there, man.
Yes, she does. Well, I think we all can agree that this episode could have been better. I'm still looking for. I can't wait to see what happens next, because they got to make it up, and so I don't know. But any final thoughts on episode 3, guys?
It was cool.
Okay.
Don't attack me.
Yeah, I know. Sharronda waiting for me to say it was trash. I don't want to say it was trash, but it's definitely the worst of the 3.
I would agree with that.
Okay. Well, that's what's up.